Well, Canada certainly had designs on making it back to the final and winning it just like they did back in 2017. But it was not to be. They just could not get past the United States like they did back in 2017 in Cairo. And they will battle Serbia for third place. Of course, Serbia also had designs on making the title game. But they came up short against France yesterday. You can see Canada, their path here from the knockout round. Canada beating Spain, but then falling to the USA, and Serbia beating Argentina before falling to France. Certainly for long stretches yesterday, Serbia had every reason to believe they were going to make it. But in that fourth quarter, France just proved to be way too irrepressible, perhaps, or just irrepressible. They were not going to be denied. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Clark, and you know, the cream has risen to the top, I think you'd have to say. We're going to see USA battle it out later with France. We're, of course, very impressed by Spain. They've won the 5th place game, beating Lithuania in overtime, in fact. So it's been a great tournament, Mark, and it's a big day here.
Well, Jeff, absolutely. Just to reiterate the great tournament statement, as always, this is, for me, one of the most exciting 2 weeks of the year. You see so much talent that you look into the current senior teams that are on their way to the Olympic Games, and there's just littered with guys that have been through this tournament and have been stars in this tournament. And, you know, on both of these teams, you know, Jovic in particular for Serbia, as they get announced here, he's had a phenomenal tournament. He's got a lot of support. Skobel and Stevanovic have really, you know, given him enormous support. Petrovic was very, very good yesterday in the semi-final game. But Jovic is, you know, out and out the biggest prospect on that Serbian team, and really reflects what this tournament really is all about. Yeah, it's about becoming a World Cup winner, which is huge. It's also about signposting yourself towards the career that you want to have and making that senior stage with your national team. The Canadians on the set, you know, with Coach Lukic, and you get the great thing about some of these coaches, especially here with Serbia, you're getting guys who are working in the professional game. BCL Coach of the Year. You know, these guys are being exposed in all ways, international competition, and to an enormously elite level of coaching.
He fits this tournament like a glove, really.
Perfectly.
Yeah, they were ready yesterday, weren't they?
Well, there's two things. One, his preparation, him and his staff, was excellent, but he challenges them in such a great way. Challenges them to perform, but doesn't forget they're under 19.
And that, if you're a federation, like the Serbian Federation, obviously they've had a tough couple of weeks losing the FIBA Olympic qualifying tournament, but they know that with the performance of this Serbia team, they've got some reinforcements on the way.
Well, I think that's the important thing for both these countries, in the sense that Canada had a really tough hosting, and both countries hosted their Olympic qualifying tournaments. Both came up short. Both will be looking at, you know, the next generation of players and how can they make their rosters stronger. And both of these rosters here have got guys that are going to be options for senior teams in the not too distant future. We'll have a chance to talk about them more after the national anthems.
So this will be the last game for both of these teams, and as we always like to remind everybody, it's always better to leave a tournament like this on the back of a win than a loss. So that's the motivation to get to the podium. Andrea Silva on the left from Brazil, Andres Outkrogers from Latvia here right at home in the middle, and Daigo Orishima from Japan on the right. And speaking of Andrea Silva this morning, she'll be an Olympic referee. She'll be going to the Olympics in Tokyo, and she was relaying the story about how incredible it was when she found out. She said her mother cried. I mean, that's, you don't actually think about that kind of stuff, but it's an honor for the referees as well to do these tournaments and to move on to other tournaments as well, especially the Olympics. So Serbia started great yesterday, and we looked at Petrovic, Stefanovic here. Those two were just terrific for long spells in the game. And it'll be Jovic, Kovacevic, Stefanovic, Mušikić, and Skobal that's going to be the starting five tonight. So Petrovic will be coming off the bench, and Alexei Kovacevic will be starting. And Todorovic will not be playing because of a stress fracture, number 7. And of course, we talked about Coach Lukic there. And we're used to him because in the Basketball Champions League, he's been one of the best coaches, really, the past few years. He was actually named Coach of the Year in the Basketball Champions League this season after leading Nizhny Novgorod to the Final 8. And Canada, I know you're just champing at the bit to get in to talk about these guys with Zach Edey, perhaps the headline name, plays college basketball at Purdue, the big center. And we'll just get a quick look at their starting five. I'm assuming Coach Weir is going to stick with the same five that he's been going with, so it will be Caleb Houston, Omax Prosper. I think he's been really good, as well as Ryan Nimbard, Benedict Maturin, and Zach Edey.
Well, I mean, Edey, when you come into a tournament and go 15.7 points, 14.5 rebounds, then you can go home and go, hey, I did my job. I came here, and he's been phenomenal. I mean, Houston scored points. His field goal percentage is not what he would like, but he's, at the end of the day, 17 points a game. He's got it done. I mean, he's just been exceptional. And Nimhard, unfortunately for him, he's head and shoulders Coach Weir's outstanding point guard. He has to play a lot of minutes, has to really get into the sort of 30-minute bracket in the big games. And it's against the type of pressure and the questions you're being asked, that's hard. And Canada, often at times make it even harder for him because they don't really move the ball very well. So he ends up with the ball for long periods of the time. But when you're going up against a Serbian team, they're going to ask you some questions. It's a little bit too individual for Canada. If they go back into that mode where they've been in the last couple of games, then it's going to be hard. I think Serbia are going to ask him a lot of questions. But they may be one of the lower level field goal percentage teams, but they're one of the best offensive rebound teams in the tournament, largely down to Edey, but they go to the glass half. Rebounding always makes your stats look better, and Canada rely on it a lot.
Jovic there has had a great tournament. Let's don't forget that this Serbia team really had to dig in a couple of games against Latvia. That would have been a colossal upset. They trailed by 17 points against them. And then in their very next game in the round of 16, the Sweet 16, although it was a 16-turn tournament, they struggled against Japan, who I don't know what was more surprising, to be honest. But since that point, they've been really tough, beating Argentina. And then
well, they know how to tough games out, don't they?
They looked good against France.
They play exceptionally well against France. They know how to tough it out because Argentina just put in a performance against them, challenging them on every single possession. So let's use the phrase, Jeff, of battle-hardened. They are very battle-hardened, and as you should be at this stage, last game of a World Cup.
Well, hello everybody. We are off and running in the third place game here at the FIBA U19 Basketball World Cup, and Serbia missing with their first opportunity wearing the blue. Canada attacking the basket to the right, wearing the white. And Ryan Nimbard, got all the talent in the world. He's certainly shown us that here in this tournament, as well as Maturin and Zach Edey. Perhaps raises more eyebrows than anybody because of his blend of size and skill. And misses that one. Skobal has been tough. Vučević starts things off with a three-pointer. He hit one yesterday, and here he is hitting one again today.
Well, it was phenomenal. For the first 5 minutes, he couldn't do anything. 3 points, 3 assists. He was the man at the beginning of the game.
Couldn't do anything wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ryan Nembhard just gets right past Kovacevic. That's going to get Lukic bring a smile to his face.
It's great being an assistant coach to Coach Lukic, because when he's unhappy, he makes sure that your assistant coach knows.
And all the players.
Yeah, and he spends...
Vučević, meanwhile, back-to-back for him.
Same problem Edey's had in a few games. Got to get his feet out there defensively. He had some issues in games where he's been, guarding a stretch big.
Stefanovic has the ball knocked out of his hands, and it goes off his leg. So good hands from Caleb Houston. He will play for Juwan Howard of Michigan.
Yeah, Serbia will like this game, Jeff, if they can keep it in the half court. They can keep it relatively low scoring, but they've got to be able to contain Nembhard.
Step back for Caleb Houston. And Zach Edey missing with the follow. And Vučević with the rebound. Kovacevic brings it forward and takes it back out. Vučević again this time. Edey went out to guard him, and then he gets blocked. Don't get carried away going up against Edey now. Bounce pass and good hands by Houston. Now bounce pass intended for Jovic from Vučević, but turns it over. And Benedict Mathurin hustles. Brings it down. Here's Edey again. Vučević hanging all over him. So foul called on Vučević.
That's so much better, though, when Canada space the floor in transition to give Edey some space to play. We're going to get a replay of his block. If you don't turn him, he's going to block Vučević. It's straightforward.
Omax Prosper. Soft touch. He played very well yesterday for Canada when they came back. Crashing the boards, offensive rebounds and putbacks. He draws the tough defensive assignment on Jovic. And Jovic pushes off. So the call from the Brazilian referee, Andrea Silva. Oh, yeah. Well, there was definitely a push. Jovic is a little tired. Here's Nembhard. Oh, the follow from Zach Edey. Edey does it. Stefanovic. Houston rebounds and runs. Gets inside, puts it up and in, and he's fouled as well from Stovall. So there's no question about the talent of Caleb Houston. And even on a drive like that with a layup, I mean, he's got all the moves, he's got the shots. So getting him in that right style of game that's going to maximize his talents, perhaps. Yeah, right style of game, right spots. I mean, that's fine. In transition, he gets all the way to the ring. He's athletic. He's going to finish that. But previous to that, a couple of step back threes off the dribble. Canada as a team is shooting 28% from the three-point line. He's only shooting 34% from the field and under 30% from the three. He doesn't need to do it that early. He can get to the ring, great. He gets high percentage shots, great. Canada's just got to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more trusting of each other. Jovic misses from deep. Edey takes it over to Nembhard. In, puts it up and in. Canada getting to the rim and forcing Zoran Lukic to call timeout. There he is again.
There's no worse team to be playing than Canada if you're not going to contain the dribble and play defense, especially in transition. They're not looking to pass. They're going to correct going to the basket, and that's the last 3 plays have been just layups.
Let's listen to the booming voice of Zoran Lukic.
opet si prvu odbranu propustio si. Sine, ne ide se tako. Razumeš, neko ko 3 utakmice ponavlja isto, nema korekciju, problem. Problem je to. Ne ponavljaj ga, probaj da iskoriguješ to. Krenite više drajvom, slobodno drajvom.
Well, you certainly can't accuse people over that Canada bench for not having any rhythm.
Nice move.
Well, you gotta enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, we always say, you know, it starts and finishes with the defense, and you've got to be able to contain the man with the ball. And Spain will tell you when they play Canada, when Canada come up against the United States, etc. When you contain them, they then have a problem. And we talked about Coach Lukic, very calm timeout, very forceful in the way that he was asking, great post. And
it's posting up, Nemhard down low, Nemhard. No other option than a foul unless you want to give away a layup.
Yep. Just finishing that point where Lukic just challenges the guys. He's just looking at him, asking him the question. Nemhard stepping out, which is something that doesn't happen very often.
So Duke comes into the game. And Nemhard goes out. Kyle Duke. Inbounds pass. And let's get another basket for Serbia. I don't like to give away a layup like that.
No, not out of bounds.
Short jumper.
Yep.
Edie, Jovic dropping down to help, so he passes it back out to Maturin. Pulls up, short jumper. I suppose that's the dilemma. If you're going to drop down and double, you're going to leave yourself open, leave up in a decent shooter like Maturin.
Yeah, but Canada, by going inside.
Oh, good hands, good D from Houston. Just kept his hands up.
Canada guy going inside and moving off the ball, then actually do ask the question, do you drop down or you help? It's when they throw it in or they penetrate without actually moving the defense at all. They don't ask a question. They almost make their decision that they're going to take before they get any reaction from the defense. And everything was a little bit more controlled. They can play in the half court. They just got to want to play off.
Elijah Fisher's come in and they give up another basket on the inbounds pass. Max Prosper, and that's indeed what he is. He prospers. That little spin move into the lane.
Tough move, decent defense, great finish. You're not long either side. Maybe gave him the middle.
And Kovacevic catches down low. Got position on number 19, Kyle Duke, and just spun easily to the basket. Here's Zach Edey again. Catches down low. If you really want to be, if he wants to be at that elite level, he needs to be able to hit that kind of jump hook, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Then he'll be unstoppable. Jovic, baseline. Open floor, Maturin. And the Arizona Wildcat puts it up and in. Kovacevic in the game. And technical foul
on the bench.
Who said what? It's on Jovic.
Jovic on the floor.
He has certainly not looked happy since the end of last night's game. When he walked out of here, he had a disgruntled expression, like, I don't know if he wasn't happy with, well, clearly he wasn't happy with the result, but maybe didn't get as many touches as he would have liked.
I mean, I don't know if he can really accuse his teammates of not giving him enough touches. He was a major factor in the game. France did a really nice job on him on the perimeter, and then, to an extent, they ran out of steam as a group because France were relentless with that 3-guard lineup they put on at various points. They were absolutely tremendous.
Good hands, Canada come up with a steal. Fisher gets into the paint, puts it up and in.
You may see Serbia at time. They may have to go to a zone, Jeff, because it's, they're getting beat off the dribble far too easily, especially in transition.
Petrovic pulls back and puts it up and in. So the step back three.
Just got to contain the guy with the ball. Keep him in front of you. Try and get him to penetrate to the outside, not down the middle.
Fisher of the jump shot variety that time. So he's coming to life now for Canada.
Well, a lot of this, Fisher in particular, and Duke didn't see a lot of floor time, or haven't seen a lot of floor time. Both having really positive contributions.
Vucevic from long range, and Omax Prosper with the rebound. Boy, Canada going to put up a big number in this first quarter, it appears. Maturin drives in, he's fouled by Skobal. 22 points already for Canada, and Maturin, after this drive, will have free throws to try to extend the lead even further.
Defensively, they didn't do a bad job on that possession, Jeff, because they got him like a very bad angle to finish. You just don't foul him in that situation. Make him make that tough one.
So Jovic returns to the court. Stefanovic goes out, having had a little bit of lapse on defense on that play. So Benedict Maturin makes both free throws. Houston replaces him. Petrovic drives in. He would have expected to make that shot with his left hand. Houston open for three. Good.
Toes the line, I think.
Okay, just a two. Got to be frustrated with every foot on the line.
Jeff, you mentioned early on that you thought Jovic and one or two of the other Serbians do look tired. Their tempo in the half court does look laboured, does look tired. Looks like they had a tough one with France last night, and they get a really friendly roll on that one, and they're desperate for anything at the moment because energy levels and their execution in the half court was important. That's where I thought they had a chance to really get after this Canadian team.
How about that? Drilling it from three-point range.
They switch on that play. They switch on that play consistency all the way through. You're going to get a replay at the three where feet set, nice stroke, gets really well balanced. Yeah, it's answered by Jovic's runner that tried to miss but rolled in. But a replay of that. But the guard going down, or the big going down to screen, and then being left with a mismatch on the guard has been really productive. Again, Serbia in the half court are just a god option.
Jovic again, starting to heat up a little bit. In case you're wondering why we call Kyle Duke, and he has Simpson on his shirt, it's because his registered name with FIBA, at least for this tournament, is Kyle Duke, but it's Kyle Duke Simpson as his last name. Nimhard. So 30-plus points in the first quarter for Canada, and that certainly got to be displeasing. They're on pace for 120 at this stage. And Vucevic throws it towards Skobal, goes out of bounds. They did look a little bit out of sync today. They've gone back to kind of that form that they were in when they were playing Latvia and Japan.
That's the best way to describe it, Jeff. Absolutely the best way.
You know, they had to work hard against Argentina.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't, you know, they were relentless, the Argentinians. Never gave up. So, 2 hard days in a row. Houston. Bediako in the game, gets the rebound. And then you have to rally yourself. You would want to play for the title, but instead you have to play for the 3rd place game. So there's that kind of emotional letdown. But again, it's always better to leave the tournament on the back of a win than a loss.
There's a medal.
Yeah.
Get on the podium.
Well, even that, yeah, more important. 3-point shot. And off the front of the rim. So that was missed by Medarovic. Semovic coming into the game. And Michicic goes out.
I mean, if you're Canada, Jeff, you're pretty much at 65% from the 2-point range. I don't know why you're even looking to shoot the 3. You're at 20% from the 3. Keep attacking the Serbian team at the moment until they demonstrate they can contain you. Just keep going at them.
Javante Brown, Ferguson in the game now. Houston drives in, gets it to go. Also Nana Owusu-Anane in. He'll be having his, I called him a Brown star earlier on. That's perhaps a little bit too presumptuous, but he will be at Brown in the Ivy League, and he looks like he's going to be a star.
Just use that word, will, possibly. He's got the talent to be a major factor for that program, hasn't he?
Certainly does.
Offensive.
Medarovic with the last basket of the quarter, rather, and Serbia just, if they can pick themselves up. Right now, Canada on top, 33-22 at the end of 1.
Well, we're going to get some field goal percentage and some stats here. I mean, Canada have just been exceptional. In 2-point range, they've just been getting to the ring far too easy. That's been the whole story. And until Serbia can find a way to contain Canada both in transition and in the half court, it's going to be too much. I mean, the other thing for Canada they're going to be pleased about, only 1 turnover in the whole of the quarter. These best plays are going to be a lot of highlights of Canada getting to the ring. Nemhard getting there right early, nice little layup off the glass. But the things that you'd be worried about coming in if you're a Canadian fan is, are you going to shoot the ball well enough? And are you going to take care of it? Well, they've definitely taken care of it. And they've done an excellent job attacking the ring on the dribble. It's very easy to sit here and say Serbia just need to contain them on the dribble. Hey, that's tough when you're feeling a little bit low in energy. You were the 2nd game last night. You've had less time to recover. And mentally, at times in the game, they really did look deflated and flat. And as I said earlier in commentary, Canada probably the worst team to play against if you're playing your defense that way. It's it's spilled over with the Jovic technical, but it's got to start and finish. I wouldn't be surprised if Lukic at some point goes to the zone. A team that shoots the 3 so poorly as Canada, and a team that settles for the 3 is, as long as they do a job boxing out, it could be an answer for Serbia, and they would score off that. They're a very, very efficient team in scoring off of their defense.
Owusu-Anane is going to inbound the basketball for Canada. So he's going to Brown. You know what the mascot is of Brown?
No, go on.
They're the Bears. In fact, in Bruno the Bear is their, kind of the lovable mascot that goes around at games. There is the drive, and another foul will put Houston on the free throw line.
And I still can't understand why Serbia are persisting in chasing so hard on the perimeter. The reason that Houston got the back cut off that play was that Novic just was chasing him. It was so tight that he just reversed on the cut, gets open. They're 20% from the three-point line. Houston on this tournament is shooting 28% from the three-point line. They've got to start making them before you give them that much respect from beyond the three-point line.
So Houston and Canada keep pouring in the points. They're up 35-22. Here's Jovic, and Javonte Brown-Ferguson goes up and gets a rebound. There's a push on Joksimovic. Joksimovic certainly had some good moments last night.
I mean, offensively, that last trip, Jovic just settled for that mid-range jump shot. That's not what he's been doing in this tournament so far. He's nearly 19 points a game across the tournament. He hasn't got 19 points a game settling for 4 jump shots.
Now goes up and gets the basketball. Maturin steps back. And this is the jumper. Jovic. Stefanovic, good pass down low to Joksimovic.
Got a lot of joy out of running that play, where they leave the big in and he rolls and holds space.
Houston, his attempt long. Stefanovic rebounds and goes, brings the ball up for Serbia. Now Petrovic left wide open in the corner.
They're never out of it serving. They've got guys who can, with their feet set, and just fill it up. But you've got to be able to contain the dribble. Someone's got to help the person on the ball if Serbia want to actually get anywhere near winning this bronze medal game.
Petrovic, Joksimovic. Brown-Ferguson going out. So Edie and Prosper come back in. Watching how Canada, their rotation, and you compare it to somebody like France. And Edie powers his way up and in. I guess he felt like the momentum was shifting to Serbia. That's why he made the change. He wanted to give those other guys playing time.
Yeah. But
here's Petrovic, Jovic, Mušić, Stefanovic. That's all. Doesn't look quite as sharp today with his jumper. Jovic. And that's where Zach Edey and Jovic is flirting. He's just not happy. I mean, you can see right there.
Yeah, he picks another tee up, Jeff is gone.
And he was on his way to another technical, walking over to Andrea Silva, the Brazilian referee, and his teammates alertly stopped him. But I'm starting to wonder if it's only a matter of time before he does pick up that second. Because he's not happy.
No, and he had a little bit of cause for complaint, but in his current position, he can't complain. However justified he feels he is, he's just got to play through this. And his team need him. He cannot, have to step out of the game for picking up a second tee.
Maturin, and good hands by Petrovic.
Has to be back.
Going back.
I think Coach Lucas is quite right. It's all very well for to allow me an official to say, yeah, I got it. But he got it very late because his co-official wasn't going to call it. So Coach Lukic had to say something, and I think every coach in the world would want to say something then.
Keep your dribble alive. Just listen up. You're going to wind up with 3, right? Just don't dead the dribble. You're good.
Just keep grinding, man. You just got to keep grinding, especially on the defensive backcourt, man.
That's what we want you to do.
We can't stand and watch when the shot goes up. We got to go get a body, and then when it's loose, we got to go get that thing. We just got to fight a little bit harder than them. That's all you got to do. It's 2 tired teams in the end of the term. We just got to fight every possession. Grab loose balls, get rebounds, hit people, keep playing. All right? Keep playing.
Getting now down inside the road.
Went on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Was reacting after probably was fouled. Actually, it wasn't picked up on the baseline, so you can understand why it's perturbed. Nevertheless, as we saw with Stonionius for Lithuania, he picked up a technical in a key situation in the previous game. Lithuania against Spain, and was fortunate that Spain missed the technical free throw. Here is Houston with the rebound, and Prosper. There he goes. He's tough.
There's no debate. If Canada can get out and run, especially off of turnovers, they are very efficient.
Stefanovic gets down low, makes the pass intended for Jovic, but Mathurin.
Well, the maths tell you, Jeff, if there's 3 white shirts around the guy you're trying to pass to, someone else in a blue shirt is open.
There's Edie, and the foul called on Jovic. For a little reach, it appears.
Yeah.
And again, you know what? Maybe there was hardly any contact there, but the fact that he reached,
yeah,
you know, the referee sees the reach and force that referee to make that decision, doesn't he?
Especially if the referee is aware of you because you've been moaning at him for the last couple of minutes. Simovic really tied his circle underneath the ring really to perfection, and great decision by Lucic, give him the pass.
Houston. Lucic drives in and scores. Nimhard hands it off Houston.
Both teams racking up points at the moment. 47 points, still 5 minutes to go in this first half. And Serbia still haven't worked out a way to stop Canada on penetration.
Lucic, little jump hook.
Good extension on that. Stop Canada in penetration situations, you are going to struggle, and that's where Serbia are, having already given up 47 points. They've just got to find a way. And I still think maybe have a look at his own. Get a hand on that one, though.
Substitutions in for Canada. Russo 90 back in. Bediako getting a hand in the face of Mušikić, and Fisher who gets the rebound. Russo 90. The pass to Joksimovic, puts it up and in.
Another one of those deep catches. You know, get to the front of the ring, get the guy on your back, and Serbia do pass the ball really well. But it started because they got the stop down here. They got points off their defense.
It's a long two if it goes for Houston. It doesn't.
So
Nani pushes off to get the ball, and it's called for the foul. Yeah, you can definitely see Serbia coming back. Good pass to Joksimovic. Another look at that one.
So when does Coach Weir go to Caleb Houston? Look, hey, every time we get to the ring, we're shooting about 70%. You're 0 for 5 from the 3, and you're going to look for him. Can you like not do it? Can you just stay within what we're trying to do? Because those misses are letting Serbia get going the other way.
Oh, nice give and go. Good pass, Joksimovic back to Stefanovic. Houston runs down again. He takes the 3.
0 for 6. And it was a 15-point lead, and everything was going Canada's way. On this possession, could get back to 5 or even 4. And you had Serbia down, but emotionally they were really struggling.
And now they're coming back. Micikic with the 3, and suddenly that big Canada lead has whittled to just 4 points.
11-0 run coming back, and I still think Canada, can, as Embar's doing right here, can break them down on the dribble. Great work on the glass though.
Stefanovic goes the 3, and it's a 1-point game. And Canada have, seen their lead just fritter away.
14-0 run coming back. No timeout going. To try and make that point. They're going to go travel now.
So Serbia can take the lead. So a substitution will be made by Canada, and Houston comes out. I don't know, maybe they just want them to figure it out on the court.
Maybe.
I don't think Lukic would take that approach for Serbia.
There's a way to help them figure it out on the floor. I think that's the point. You don't have to tell them as such. Help them figure it out.
Well, they've taken the lead. Serbia. Canada have paid the price.
And the whole game has become a little static.
And now an offensive foul. Maturin.
It's like on the screen, they're going to call the screen was late. Bediako was really late. And again, the ball gets stuck. And as great as Canada looked earlier in this first half, they look unstoppable. They get the 47 points with 5 minutes still left in the game. There's 2 minutes left in the game. They're still on 47 points. They're completely dried up. And it dried up because they've slowed up. Edie's back in.
Yeah, you were right. It was Bediako with the foul.
Yeah.
But that can't be the solution. That, I don't know. Then you bring Edie back into the game. I'm with you. I think you got to have a timeout and just talk about your approach. Here goes Fisher.
And look at Serbia's energy now. It's almost, they're back in the game. That's offensive.
Edie to it, and oftentimes we don't see it from the opponents.
Well, it's been interesting to see how Canada react to Lukic's taking the timeout. What are they going to show coming out of the timeout?
Joksimovic, the three-pointer. They've lost all the momentum, and Serbia basically let them hang around, and now they've come back and taken a 4-point lead.
It's a 19-0 run. Wow.
Well, the answer is to check up a three-pointer, and here comes Stefanovic.
It's going to be tough for Canada now to break this sort of momentum, even though at half-time, that's what might help if Petrovic makes that. Oh.
Petrovic. Oh, boy. They're really laying it to him now, 54-47.
They're going to hold to the last shot, Jeff, but...
Bediako from the left corner and gets it to go. So pulls him back to 4. Petrovic gets it off too late. But even with that three-pointer, it's Serbia. Even with the three-pointer for Canada, Serbia have all the momentum, all of the self-belief, and the thought that, hey, we can reach the podium. They lead it 54-50 now over Canada. Canada led by as many as 15 points in the game. It looked almost like Serbia weren't even going to show up at the party, but yet they've come back to take a 4-point lead.
Well, Jeff, whatever those numbers, those numbers are going to say.
2 of 11 from three-point range.
2 of 11, and one of those was the Bediako. Now, if that's what you called, you're going to have Bediako to the corner to shoot the 3. You ain't winning the game.
Yeah.
Because that can't be the answer to beat the Serbian team, because you've been beating them for literally 17 minutes that first half by putting it on the floor and getting and breaking them down. Now, yeah, I'm sure Coach Lucas has made some changes and some emphasis and challenged his team. But when we see the best plays, and there's still going to be an enormous number of best plays that see Canada getting to the ring, breaking down this Serbian team on defense and finishing plays. What we're not going to see is a lot of highlights of Canada in the half court, shooting open threes and making them. And that's what they settled for. They're up 15, they're down 4. That's including the 3 at the end. It's just...
So let's talk about this, because the approach, if you look at man-to-man in this tournament, and speaking objectively, in terms of talent and everything else, Canada, they've made it to the semifinals. But you're saying you think their biggest weakness is just their attacking style, and they just settle for too many jump shots, too much one-on-one play. They don't run enough offense.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not saying that, teams should run lots of complicated offenses and stuff, but it's almost like decisions, the decisions they're making, the emphasis.
So maybe the plays are there, but the players aren't running them.
Yeah, and if you take where they were, 15 up, Houston, one of their best players at putting the ball on the floor, creates, scores, and if Serbia make an attempt to help and stop him, he's got to kick it. But they stopped penetrating. Limbach was breaking down. We saw on numerous occasions breaking down the defense and scoring. All of a sudden they say, oh no, we're going to shoot the 3. And not just 3s that they want. In terms of running sets or running the options to get them. We're talking like two steps outside the 3-point line after one pass. I can't believe that's what they're being asked to take.
Right. But so at those points, that's where you have the contrasting styles, and that you call a timeout and you say, what are you doing?
And we talked about Coach Lucas and the way he does things. He doesn't go, don't do this and do that. I know my Serbo-Croat's not great, but you see him like asking the question, is that the option you want to do? Yeah. Is that the right thing you want to do? And you see a reaction from the player and they make a change.
Right.
And then when they were really down, they ran the options where they end up with either the big guard or a big roll into the bucket, deep catches. They probably scored 8 to 10 points out of that, and Canada didn't make a change. And it's those things that I think as part of playing, international basketball in this way, because of the contrasting style, you need to make the changes and learn.
Miles alley-oop, and Kalkbrenner throws it down. Brazil for three. Wow. Well, some rain with that. Back to a 6-point game.
Deep.
Petrovic shaking and baking. Is rejected.
You can tell, Jeff, momentum, the energy.
Right up against Holmgren. Takes a tough shot at Holmgren, boy. He just held his ground. This is quality play from him. Look at this, behind the back. Gets it back, and then he just dunks it. Sensational stuff.
Absolutely sensational.
Nice pass. And the dunk. Mathurin ran the floor well. His teammate found it.
We have walked this land for a long time. We know how far we've gone, and we're sure of how far we can go. Unity is not just a word here. It's not just a spirit in this sport. It's the way we all move. We are proud of our art, country, family, language, and culture. We are united by basketball.
Welcome to FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022.
Ajmo, momčine, ajmo, momčine.
Days. I don't know, they like the loss in the semifinal weighed more heavily on them than Canada's setback to the USA, because Canada had a much stronger start tonight. But again, Serbia were not, shall we say, they just didn't put them away. Maybe just a little bit too relaxed on offense and not working for good shots, and well, leading to some opportunities for Serbia. And now look at them. They've got a bounce in their step. They got smiles on their faces. And they're like, hey, 20 more minutes and we can get to the podium, and nobody, well, I say nobody, the power rankings on the FIBA basketball website had it number 2. So obviously some people felt like Serbia had the makings, but I'm talking to the Serbian people here, that was not the sentiment. They said this team is overachieved. And if they can get to the podium, they will have every chance. You know, they will leave here with a big smile on their face.
Huge in terms of. I mean, like the other thing is, we talked about energy, Jeff. You know, you said they looked a little flat, Serbia, during that first half. But Canada, who've really been very cold from the three-point line, a team that is averaging over 20 offensive rebounds a game, only has 6 offensive rebounds. Serbia just knuckled down and did a great job on both ends of the floor and dragged themselves back in. I don't think even they thought they were going at the half up 4.
Čak malo, ti budi ovde, ti si na četvorci, Mušika na 5. Čak možeš ovde da napraviš, Mušika stani na penal, pa kreni ovde, pa Mušika obrni ga, pa ako si 1-0 diži, ne može, raširi, tako je, ovde. Tako je, blok u leđa, ne može pas, mali odmah na hand-off. Dobar blok, raširi ti popu. I ti pravi burgiju ili ga čitaju popu.
Ja sam morao da ide blok u leđa.
Tako je, promeni stranu. Jesmo se dogovorili? Ej, sledeća opcija, dva za Azara i onda idemo trojku, ti da igraš pik do kraja. Se razumem?
Well, Serbia have never finished third at this tournament. They have had a couple of second place finishes, and obviously they've won the title back in 2007. Canada won it in 2017, and Canada had, well, that's it. So that was, so both of these teams trying to get to that third place medal for the first time. There is prestige that goes along with this.
Massive. You're a bronze medalist in a World Cup. Huge. I tell you, Jeff, to sum it up for me, though, it's still Canada's to lose.
Right. They can right the ship. They've got enough on the floor. It'll be Serbian team showing that some of the Serbian colleagues here talks about the word courage. Serbia courage is really high. Canada showed the same courage. They can get the win. So we start with a 4-point lead, second half action underway, and again, Serbia coming into this after a tough loss to France. USA, 6-point defeat, Canada rather, 6-point defeat to the USA. So, although it's probably more convincing than the 6 points.
Yeah.
Simovic puts on the deck and then makes the bounce pass. And Mušikić throws it down. And again, more evidence that these guys playing together here for Serbia. Neymar drives in and he did crash the boards, but Serbia come up with the basketball. Now the dunk down low to Mušikić. Passes it outside to the open shot. Mušikić, a little bit of a runner, banks it in.
Fly by. You'd never see a better example of that. Wasn't exactly the quickest ball fake in the world.
It's probably 21 points that not many people would have expected Mušikić to have at this stage in the game. There's Edie. Petrovic has the pass knocked away. Houston from the left, an air ball. Up to Jovic. Finds his teammates, Stefanovic, and he goes up for the dunk. And the foul has been called as well on Benedict Maturin. And it's going from bad to worse for Canada. Well, I tell you, we've seen a couple of nasty falls in this tournament. Thankfully, nobody got hurt on that one.
That's tough goal to stand. He knew he was going to be challenged on it. Just got off the floor. And the great thing for me, Jeff, there was a lot of contact. He said, got up, dusts himself down, goes to the free throw line. No, there's no one looking to talk anybody down or anything, and makes the throw. And they just carried on. It's almost like they haven't been in the locker room, Serbia. I mean, Zoran Lukic was out pretty quick. Didn't have to say a lot, did he?
Another runner, and I think Edvard got that basket as he got into the lane.
How are we going to go with zone, Jeff?
Give Serbia a different look. And Prosper pushes Jovic.
Well, the zone is an interesting call. I mean, they haven't really had issues if they get down and play defense to control Serbia. Well, 17 minutes, they had no issues controlling Serbia. And if you're going to be in the zone, you're not really exposing yourself to that type of penetration. Poor closeout, good decision by Jovic.
But Simovic gets swatted by Zakidi. back-to-back blocks.
Wrong person got the ball. I mean, there was options to go long. And the trouble is going long, you've got to be careful. Limbard is so quick to the top of that zone. But try and seal him in and he should be okay.
Oh, nice little give and go off the inbound pass.
How often do you see that? People forgetting the inbounder. Nice little play. Petrovic did have a lot to do with the finish.
He did, and he got it up just in the nick of time.
Yeah, it's that contrasting style, Jeff, that you talked about. We had a long conversation about at halftime. Serbia's answer to the start of this second half is to pass the ball, try and get options for each other. Canada's answer, in particular with Limbard, is to penetrate, try and make something. And we said this yesterday, no one moves. We can give him a hard time for like trying to put the shot up, but no one moves to give him a pass option, even if he was looking to pass. It's very much a... And Coach Lukic is demanding his players make decisions. They must talk about the decisions they make, the options they're looking for consistently. One thing's for sure, we've got a game on it, and the 3 minutes to go in the first half, it doesn't look like we have one.
Serbia leading by 9. Petrovic, the extra pass to Fanovic. Maksimovic, new 14. Maksimovic, Jovic, and Prosper rebounds, gets it off to Limbard.
Can't underestimate how good a job that Zach Edey did. Please give him the ball. He's just giving you the opportunity to run now. Give him a touch.
There he is, powering his way up for 2.
Did a great job at the defensive end. You've got to reward him for that effort. And he runs the floor and gets to the block. It took a while for him to get it to him.
Look at him sharing it. Stefanovic. Limbard. Houston now. Petrovic reaches in.
It's like watching a different game, you know, with the 2-3 zone, and it's a very there's a risk to the strategy because they've had two or three wide open looks. Serbia haven't made them.
Benedict Matcher misses the 3, and now the push on Zach Edey.
We might see it again because Edey doesn't have to push off very much. Let's have a look though. Yeah,
a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, a little bit in the back, small in the back. If you feel anything like that as a defensive player, you're going to go a long way to make sure the referee sees the push. There's two things about this zone. There's a huge seam between the 2 and the 2 and the 3 in it. Big seam. And at the moment, they've not really exploited that. Serbia, but they've done a really good job at overloading the 2 at the front and getting a wide open look. Just got to make the open shot. See again, there's 3 on 2 at the top.
Krasinovic gets it to Petrovic, and he scores with a little runner.
There's that big seam between the 3 and the 2, and the defensive spacing is too big. And right into the seam.
Yeah, you're trying to take away those inside shots. Limbard goes back the other way and scores.
We're already halfway through this third quarter, and the game is now a completely different tempo of game.
Stefanovic with a little runner. And yes, Serbia feel comfortable in this type of showdown.
He's just got to step up a little higher, just come meet that penetration a bit more.
He gets the handoff from Limbard. High pick and roll, and now met Petrovic. What will Serbia do? Petrovic goes left. Is that not goal? No. I guess he must have gotten it before it went off the backboard. And here's Prosper. Oh, well done. stops and dunks, and Canada breathing back into it.
In particular, you know you've got the best 12 players in the country, hopefully, although today Serbia have only got 9-player rotation because of various injury issues, but
Maksimovic loses it over to Nimbard. Yeah, Canada pretty much goes with 5-man rotation here in the second half. Houston pulls up, misses another 3 on the break. Triggers a break for Serbia. Gets Stefanovic an open 3, and that is a huge swing right there following the missed 3 from Houston.
Missed early 3. Yeah, that's the other thing again. But Music is one of those examples, Jeff, that you've got the talent. At some point, you're going to get contributions from everywhere.
And now Canada again take another 3 and missing.
And they've shot 14% from the 3-point line.
Simovic. Vucevic, feet set, misses though, and Kovacevic goes up with a foul called on Nimbard.
That's great by Kovacevic. He came from a long way off. Used his body really well to get advantage on the glass. You're going to go looking for people to get your body on them and box them out. And you can see he's already got round Nimbard. Just realized late, he's just a little bit late trying to box him out. It's the 12th offensive rebound for Serbia, out-rebounding Canada in a department of the game that you'd have thought Canada would clearly dominate.
So I think, Mark, if you look over on the bench right now, the coaches are talking to Houston about taking the early 3. They pulled him out. They brought in the sub, Fisher. And here is Ryan Nimbard crossing midcourt. Getting down low and tried to get it to Edey. Maturin open for 3, misses. And Vucevic gets it back. Stefanovic follows up the miss. Edey with the rebound. Canada can get it down low. Maturin. And what was good about that is Edey was there for the follow in case it didn't go in.
They run with 5. In transition, they get people down the floor. And some of the decisions they make when they get there are questionable, but there's no shortage of people really committing to running in transition.
Simovic back out. Kovacevic, oh boy, wonderful basketball, but he misses the shot. Simovic.
What an effort to get it back, though.
I mean, he penetrates, passes it back outside, then he gets it back. He just missed the layup.
Yep. Because what happens is the pass goes back to the top, everyone in white steps up, he just steps into a hole, his teammate is aware and makes the pass. Yeah. It's just, one, you've got to be looking to do it, though. If you're looking to do it and you want to share it, you'll find passes, you'll find options for each other. You know what that makes him able to do? If he gets in the same, he wants to give it to his teammate as well, because he knows if he's open, he's going to get it. And saying all these things, it's still only a 6-point game with these throws to come. And we're still saying, you know, Canada, get to the basket, you're doing a great job.
So Joksimovic wayward with his first attempt. Owusu-Onane returns, as does Houston.
And let's not forget, with 2:33 to go in the third, they played second yesterday, Serbia. Their rotations are shorter because they've got 2 or 3 people unable that are not going to play today. And at some point, Canada push hard enough at the right point, make good decisions, that fatigue might become a factor.
Inbar drives in and has a chance for a 3-point play.
Same problem we had in the first half of Euro service. The body is just difficult to contain. You know, try and pick him up early. Allow him to go to the middle again. When he goes to the middle, he can create. And at the moment, it's creating points for him. That's the 3rd time he's been successful on that little floater.
The only thing I would say about that is somebody needs to be following him in case he doesn't make it. But he doesn't make the free throw, 5-point game. Vucevic has it knocked away from behind by Owusu-Onane. Fisher. And the reach. Stefanovic, 2 shots coming.
Well, Owusu-Onane, as we've seen before in the other games, in particular against Spain when he came in the quarterfinal, always brings energy. And energy is another one of those aspects that's contagious. And the benefit for Canada is they find themselves on the free throw line.
Halo, ajde probamo sada Keca za Nikolu. Keca za Nikolu.
Fisher. So now 3-point deficit for Canada, and put on a little bit of pressure, but Serbia break it. Drop one down to 4. Jovic. Fisher guarding him, and he gets to the rim. Knew exactly how much time he had.
Just waited for the right option, didn't he? Waited to get the option he wanted, the reaction he wanted, not just from the on-ball defender, but from the help.
And Matron, boy, that was a tough finish. Jovic didn't do too much wrong there defensively. Matron had it threw it high off the glass. Rebound from Matron. Matron avoids the foul. Drives in, banks it in. And now they've called a technical foul on Matron for looking over at Almkroger's. Matron, I think, said like, and one, said something like, call the foul. Must have, unless he just gave the stare.
Well, the thing that's impressive about the officiating, that Jovic did a similar thing in the first half. That's not what you do against the tech, so you can say nothing about the consistency is there.
Matron is saying, I wasn't saying that to you. And Almkroger said, you were saying it to me. So Matron says, no, I wasn't saying to you. He's going to walk away. So hopefully, again, watch this. Watch the play. You get the shot. And then he's looking over to the left after the shot.
Well, if he's not saying it to him, he's looking at him and saying something.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a little bit harsh, but
yeah. Anyway. Exactly like the Jovic one as well. It wasn't really that obvious.
Stefanovic. Michigan stays after it. Hands it off to Jovic. And Kovacevic can't get it. Now Houston brings it forward. And Canada. Jovic getting tangled up there with, I think, Owusu-Onane. Houston thought about launching the three, but then I think realized or heard somebody say hold it for one shot. Holds up and scores with a jump hook. So Canada have tied it up at the end. Good drive. Right decision by Houston. 74-74 heading to the final quarter.
Well, if you're Canadian, just the great thing for you is that that attempted three-point number hasn't gone up too much in that third quarter, because what they've been doing is getting to the ring again, breaking down the defense, getting into the keyway, little floaters, finishes off the glass, getting him in transition. And Serbia with a little, their energy's gone down a little bit. We're going to see in that third quarter very much as you were in the first part of it, because Serbia shared it, getting plays going to the ring, still staying up, controlling the tempo. Big time finish by Stefanovic. And but as we got deep into the third quarter, Canada started to be more aggressive. A couple of rotations coming in off the bench. And Fisher got in the game, got some deflections, and they started to run. And things now look very good for Canada, because Canada are playing to what they have, which is an enormous amount of strength going to the ring. If they stay with that, Serbia then have got to be asked the question of how we're going to stop it. Is Coach Lucas going to go to the zone? Is he going to will he just sag and step more to the middle and say, we'll make... The trouble is that Canada aren't that bad a three-point shooting team, that sooner or later they're going to drop, as long as you keep pressuring them.
So do you anticipate Canada changing their style at all? Or?
I hope not, in terms of going to the basket. That's where they need to go. I think the question now is, Coach Lucas has the question now. Canada had a question, and we saw some reaction from the bench, and they sat Houston down and said, why didn't you go to the ring? And he did take the early three towards the end of the third. Good decision. Finished with a tough play. But Coach Lucas has got to decide now, how does he get Canada back into the half court, which is where he got them in that second period, in that second quarter. I mean, we've got pictures of Houston in shot, but Jovic just spent the last couple of minutes having the conversation with the official, just asking him some stuff. And that's the way you get your point across, just have the conversation.
Yeah. You do it respectfully.
Yep.
Not opposed to that. Nembhard gets into the paint, and well, that was a quick release and basket.
Took it off the first step. It's tough for a recovering defender to actually challenge it if you go off the first step.
16 points for Nembhard, most of it on drives. Nice change of direction from Petrovic, and he passes it back out to Jovic. Oh, goodness gracious. That was an elite move right there from Jovic.
Yes. Because Edey did everything. Challenged it, made him change direction. He still managed to come up with a finish.
9 minutes for a spot on the podium. Here it is, folks. It's heating up nicely, and again, he goes off that first step. And he's fouled.
Coach Lukic's decision to try and break down, stop this penetration is with Jovic on Nembhard. And he's trying to give him enough space as we see the finish. That's a hell of a finish. Great control.
So that's Nembhard again.
That's the play before. It's the decision to give Jovic that responsibility is to say, just give him a little bit more space, try and contain him, try and get him to get rid of the basketball. At the moment, Nembhard's not passed it at all, and he's been very, very productive going at the bigger man.
Well, there's no question about Nembhard's talent, that's for sure. He's terrific. He's going to be fun to watch this year.
That finish off of one step, it's very, very tough to guard. 2-2-1 trap with Canada. Just takes a little bit of time out of the half court, down to 14 already.
Over to Joksimovic, and just grazed the outside of the net.
have better shooters outside him. Looks very much like the first quarter now, Jet White. It looks like the first 17 minutes of the game. Serbia, energy level is going to be the issue in this fall.
Hard again. Pulls up at the stripe this time. And they were able to challenge. There's only Edie in there for the rebound for Canada. And he had about just battling away 3 Serbians. On his way, goes right at Matcher and has it taken away. Here comes Houston. He hits the runway. Didn't give us the explosive dunk that perhaps we craved, but nevertheless didn't want to take any chances. He just almost laid it up and in. And Canada with an 80-76 lead after this, turning this turnover into points. I was hoping for a 360 there.
Igraš 1 na 1. Ajmo da ne padamo bre sada. Alo, hoću odmah izaći iz dijamanta kratkog i mušiki dole ili oksik i na stranu. Vas dvojica kreirajte. Jasno? 1 na 0 dižemo. Ajde. Evo te, bok živu loptu. Kontra. Ajde. Ajde, momci!
All it took was 1 turnover and 1 fast break to get the timeout from Lukic. You know, it's more perhaps just to kind of stop the momentum than anything, because I'm not sure he had that much to say. It's like, don't stop playing hard.
Yeah, I think that was part of it, definitely. I think the other part, Jeff, is that the last couple of possessions, Petrovic has spent an enormous amount of time just with the ball in, on the floor, dribbling, not really trying to attack and turn the defense. Whereas before, they'd get advantage and move the ball.
Houston saw his numbers going up to 15 points. Stefanovic. And Fisher gets in there for the rebound. Passes out to Matcher. Now Canada has that look that they had earlier in the game, and Serbia are on the back foot. And, well, Stefanovic called for the foul, but not a terrible foul.
Now we are back to where we were in that first 17 minutes, because Limbaugh down the other end defensively did a great job boxing out, which initiated the chance to run.
Oh boy, tough spin and bank shot from Benedict Mathurin. Mathurin has dropped back. Mitrovic, Serbia out of sync now offensively. Pass. Stefanovic back outside to Petrovic. And Skovall stepped out of bounds.
And what Canada have done with this, extending the defense, Serbia get down with a little less time, but they get down and almost satisfied to get it over the halfway line. They're not really then being aggressive like they were earlier on. And Skovall in particular is one of those players that needs to catch the ball. You know, his feet said he's just a very, very good shooter, but if you're standing still, you won't find him.
Good drive, or good block rather. Skovall gets it over to Stefanovic. Embar gets up there, stops the break. He's got those quick hands.
Yeah, especially after last night, Serbia have to hang around here now. I can't, it's going to be tough for them if it gets out to double digits. Getting a lot of time with the ball.
And Vucevic, it ain't pretty, but boy, it's effective. He gets it in the lane, he puts it up off the glass and in.
It's almost like a Princesas little push-up. Just push it with that right shoulder.
He's got a game-high 23 points. Into Edie. And fouled as well.
they stay in the zone, Canada and Serbia did a really good job for a while overloading the front. They'd have a high screen, they'd run 3 guys against the 2 at the top, and it was just they were getting options. Now it's become very passive and very slow at the top of that zone, and Canada will stay with it, as they should, if Serbia just can't get that rhythm back.
He misses the free throw. Canada back up by 6. Still ball in the left corner. On the wing. Entry pass to Joksimovic. He saves it in bounds, so Canada has a chance to run. Nimbard hands it off to Maturin. Gets in, scores with the left hand. I tell you what, when they beat him down the floor, you know Canada is scoring.
Yep. But they can't stop doing it. They've got to play that way. They've got to keep that momentum and the tempo high.
Fanovic gets it to Mušikić. 25 points. Mušikić.
It's like career night time, isn't it, for him? What a performance.
You won't care if you don't win. Guess it.
Yeah.
So it's like 80, then you can enjoy it. There's a turnover.
Got to come down with a rebound. They've done such a good job on the glass.
And here they go again, driving to the basket, but Houston comes up empty now. Serbia with a chance to run, open floor. Stefanovic gets in, good follow. He was challenged. That's why you...
Is if you settle for it early and you're not in rhythm and you don't want it, offensively as a group, you've not played to get that 3-point shot.
Offensive foul.
It's one of my bugbears. He just happens to be taller than the guy guarding him. I don't think, see, he's just, and he stays up with it a little too long. I agree that with his height. You got the smaller man, you have to be a little bit careful with it, but...
Joksimovic also kind of snapped his head to try to draw the... Serbia pretty clever, as they were last night as well against Wembanyama.
They'll overload the front of the zone. No, don't. They turn it down.
Mušikić bounce pass. Oh, gosh, they're so intelligent.
Everyone in a white shirt just looked at the ball.
Maturin from the arc, and he's fouled by Jovic.
That one's going to hurt because the ball Edie should have got the ball. Maturin took a shot, like one of those threes we were talking about before. Jovic is trying to look at the replay to see if he fouled. It's like, because the replay's on the big screen. And he took his space away when he had it. So, the official, I can see why he's annoyed at the foul, but you can see why the official called it. .22
points now for Benedict Maturin.
Why not give Edie the ball, though? You know, again, he's run the floor, he's run his 30 meters, he's there. Give him the ball, he'll give it back to you. You know, if he doesn't have an option, then you're going to shoot it in rhythm. It is about giving it up now and again.
So Mathurin makes all 3 free throws. Those are huge. Canada had some misses at the line, but he takes his time and takes the lead up to 5. And Canada will remain in the ascendancy here. Joksimovic. And no blue shirt there for the rebound. Houston pulls up, and Tays doesn't really miss around the paint, does he?
No, he's got enough size, and he's definitely quick enough, and he has really nice touch on that little pull-up.
So Canada with 3.5 minutes remaining, up by 7 points, looking to deliver the knockout punch. And they might just be about ready to do that as Stefanovic misses his jump shot. Mathurin forces his way in. He gets another chance for a 3-point play. And he could end up being the game's leading scorer by the time this is over. In fact, he's now got a game-high 26 points. Canada have outscored Serbia 19-10 in the 4th quarter.
This will make it a 10-point lead, and we said earlier on, there's only 3 minutes to go now, but which probably won't have the impact that it may have had earlier on. It's just that time now becomes Serbia's enemy. Still enough time.
Pulls it out. Hands it off to Stefanovic. Joksimovic dumps it down low to Mušikić. And he had the unenviable task of going up against Edie. He was never going to win that battle.
Nowhere to go.
Nembhard pulls up on the break and gets the 3. And what was once a deficit for this Canada team is now they've turned it into a big lead for themselves. That was a 2:40 remaining. Certainly a dagger. They have just taken command in this 4th quarter.
Tebe čuva visoki, dovedi njemu visokog igrača. Ne ti Mušikić, ti ga na širje, dovedi ti opa gore. Se razumeli? Probaj, pripremi. Idemo hand-off, smiri se tamo, nemamo. Hand-off sa Joksom. Joksa je primio hand-off ovdje. Idi u flare, a ti rejectuj. Si me čuo? Ne možeš napati piki tipi. Sada vas vidim na skoku.
Mark, this is, I mean, we've talked about this all game long, but this is another way to look at it. As you look at Edie just proving to be the tower of power down there. So Caleb Houston and Benedict Mathurin have combined for 44 points. And they are a combined 0 of 12 from 3-point range.
Yep.
And again, it's not to say they can't shoot a 3, but when they've worked for much better shots, clearly it's turned out better.
Yeah.
Stefanovic drives in, gets the basket.
It's almost the 3s they take, Jeff. It's the one when they take them. They can't shoot.
I mean, the last 3 that Nembhard took was fine because it was trailing on the break. Edie. Pass tapped by Mušikić. Mathurin double dribble.
Yep. know, at this stage of the game, they took a fair amount of time out of the game clock with that possession. It's still an 11-point game. Serbia need them quick. They do have that talent from the three-point line.
Jovic, that's the talent, and that is the three-point line. Back to an 8-point game.
One more stop makes life very interesting with still pretty much 2 to go.
Hard goes off of Zach Edey's fingertips. Right decision, maybe the pass just a little too hard.
Yeah, the decision to go to Edey right now, they don't even have to go early either. They can move it.
Yeah, I think they could have taken some more time off the clock. Petrovic for 3, and Joksimovic gets in there for the rebound, misses. Oh, that was a big putback, and Edey grabs the rebound.
It's just the fact that Edey's there makes life difficult for Joksimovic, and still got to finish that play though, Jeff. I mean, yeah, this stage of the game anyway, but just generally has to finish it.
Edey with 12 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks, and the drop from Maturin. Now he's going to pose for the camera.
Tough move.
Not sure what to say about that. Anyway, well, they're on top. He wants to enjoy himself. They're up by 10 points. And Jovic has fouled out. Their premier, probably their best player in this tournament.
What a tournament he's had.
Michigan's
done an amazing tournament for Jovic.
Michigan. Skobal. Kind of the missing link in this game, Skobal. And Fisher has it. Over to Nembhard. And he pulls it back outside. So Nembhard steps into a 3. Maturin with the rebound. And then he's fouled. So, Canada, you know, revealing themselves once again to have tremendous talent. They've come to this tournament. You know, they were 1 win away from the final. And who knows? I mean, maybe if they hadn't played USA in the semifinals and somebody else, they would have gotten to the final. It's always going to be difficult to beat the USA. They've done it before back in 2017 when they won the title. They've certainly had long stretches of play where they struggled, and you have to give a lot of credit to Serbia in this game.
But Jeff, they've shown us it makes it even more frustrating for Canada, for me, that at various points when they stay with what works for them,
right,
they can compete with anyone in the competition.
Yeah, we've been driving that point home, and that's true. I mean, if they just really play to their strengths.
And just every now and again, you remember, you know, at the end of the day, this game is a team game at times, and that's why your teammates are there. Not that you'd ever want to take away the individual brilliance of people.
But no need for Serbia to hang their head either. I mean, they've had a really solid performance in this FIBA U19 Basketball World Cup. And that is the final buzzer. So Canada grind out a 101-92 win over Serbia. They come good when it counts. They reach the podium at the FIBA U19 Basketball World Cup, the first time ever finishing 3rd in this tournament for Canada. Well, they will go back, Mark, and they can say, hey, look what we've accomplished. We've reached the podium. Any way you slice it, that's an accomplishment for Canada. You know, you don't want to leave empty-handed. Could they have done better? Well, again, had they not played USA in the semifinals, maybe.
Maybe.
But even so, there were moments in that USA game that maybe if they'd played a little bit better, they would have made it to the final.
I think that's the thing, Jeff. I think that you know, regardless of what the game stats are going to say, you know, the lack of the lack of quality from the three-point line, and it's not just today. That's been a little bit their Achilles heel throughout this World Cup. But the important thing, and this is the thing you hope every country does in this sort of set of circumstances, is that they've done a really, really good job. They get a bronze medal. But then they're going to look beyond the bronze medal and look at, like, well, could we have got the gold? Could we have got the silver? Could we have got to that final game? And why didn't we? And what do we have to get better at? And how do we improve the program? All those questions, if they ask those, they're going to be fine.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun following these guys this coming season. Nimbard, been following his brother Andrew, and now we're going to be following two Nimbards. And he'll be an exciting talent, but all of them. I mean, that's one of the beauties of the Under-19 Basketball World Cup. Now we're going to be like, okay, Jovic, where is he? How's he doing this season? I mean, he's revealed himself just to be, if you didn't know him already, now you know he's a big-time talent. And also Houston, how is he going to do playing at Michigan?
And
there's no doubt he's got the tools to be a superstar.
Absolutely, he's got the tools to be a very high-level player. And that's why I love this competition, because it signposts kids going forward. And you can see talents all the way through at on various teams when they've actually gone and progressed into the seniors and when they've had good college careers or good pro careers. Often this is the first time they get announced, either here at the 19s or at the 17s World Cup. You know, you become known to the world and you get chances to play against different styles, which I think is huge in their development.
You know, out of all these players, Zach Edey maybe, I mean, Mathurin had a great game today too, let's don't forget him, but Zach Edey has something that you can't teach in that size.
Yeah.
Where does he go from here? You know, there have been players like him in the past. I mean, I remember Eric Montross, for example, at UNC, stayed all 4 years. You know, what does he do to get better and make himself an elite center in the world?
I think the important thing for someone like Zach Edey in that situation is, if you're going to stay the whole term, you're going to do your 4 years. At Purdue, he's like, okay, this is how I'm going to offer this to this program. What do I need to get better at? You've got to say that he probably needs to develop some little bit of a game face in the basket. He's got to be a little bit, because when you get into the pro ranks, there's going to be, the guy you're playing is going to be the same size. He's been effective here because he's outsized people a lot. Got to give himself some sort of like little, something like a jump shot, something in the low block. You said it in commentary, a little bit more finish in terms of jump hooks, because when you're going up against someone the same size as you, what do you have? Because you can't just be bigger. But what he has is great touch. He really does have good touch. And he's not slow, and he really does work hard. So people like that have to then say, I'm good, I want to get better.
Well, Canada get it done. They win over Serbia, 101-92 to clinch third place at the FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup in Riga.
The same way, right? If not, we got back.
Thank you.